What's up, everybody? We are 24.1, officially announced 5 minutes ago. We're getting on here as soon as we can. This is actually something that we're going to start doing every week of the Open now. We're going to get on here, get our thoughts out. You guys can actually head over to our Instagram and then also our apps. So Train Heroic Beyond the Whiteboard. All of our tracks will have coaches' notes on there for you. In-depth primers, strategy from Tim Paulson's actually going to be doing some great videos. But today, what we're going to do is kind of break down the workout as we see it. I want to introduce you to Jarrett, who's actually our director of elite athletes here. Brand new with us, first time on the podcast, which is really cool. So welcome for this. And then obviously we've got our head coach Shane here, and we're going to jump into this. So let's talk about the workout first. We got a couplet here, as you guys saw. Dave, he's back in action. He's back with his whiteboard shenanigans. So we've got 21, 21, 21, 21. Sounds like a 21 Savage song at this point. And you guys are going to be doing snatches, burpees, and then 15s and then 9s in the same fashion. So if you guys saw that, we got to watch the 4 games athletes do this. And let's just jump into your first thoughts of what you guys saw when we watched them do this workout.
Yeah, I think it's a great one to kick off the campaign with. More in the technical sense, I think this is a great workout for all levels, right? So I think inclusiveness is going to be great. I think we're going to talk about multiple levels here, but for me, a great one to kick off and talking about paces, but we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, I love the workout. I think it's really, really good for an open workout. I think it does a lot of good things well. I think it's extremely inclusive, but it also is written in a way that there will be a separator where the best in the world are going to be able to separate themselves from us three and do it in a pretty comfortable fashion. And when we talk about kind of different ways to approach it in a minute, but I like the work. I think it's a really good open workout for sure.
Yeah, I think we always talk about week 1 is that inclusive workout. You guys touched on that already, but I think even from us having a brand new affiliate, our community having the ability to have some not so in-depth floor plans. I know Mitch is probably happy about that. So we'll be able to watch our members hit that.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, watching these guys is 6 minutes for Jeff, which is just wild.
Man.
Like, and when you guys watch these, like, obviously we know they're top level athletes, but he even made the other 3 look like he was in a different category.
Yeah.
So let's jump into, at this point, kind of what their rounds look like from a split standpoint.
Yep.
And what you guys think looks for level 3, level 2, and level 1.
Yeah, sure. So I can talk on Jeff's splits, and what he did here was absolutely clinical. This is one of the most professional displays of a CrossFit workout that you could ever watch from a couple different standpoints. One, the techniques that he employed when he did it. The very quick step up to the hop over, it did 2 things. Kept the heart rate low, and it also allowed him a lot of accuracy to jump over a very small target. If we've seen people do lateral burpees over a dumbbell, about 1 out of every 5 probably actually go over the dumbbell. So he did a really nice job of that. And then his burpee technique, his chest was the first thing to hit the deck every single time, which allowed for a very smooth and quick cadence. And then from a pacing standpoint from him, I'll give you his cycle rate for each round. So in the snatches, in round of 21, he was 1.8 seconds per rep. In the rounds of 15s, he was 1.6 seconds per rep. In the round of 9s, he was 1.7 seconds per rep. He was the pace he started with was the pace he finished with, and it was the same on the burpees. 2.3 seconds in the first part, 2.3 seconds in the last, and then just because he sprinted the last 9, he was at 2 seconds a rep. It was absolutely clinical.
Yeah, and I think why we preface on the dumbbell box, the burpees over the dumbbell is because there is a standard there, or there is something in the rules of making sure you clearly jump over that. And I think Adler demonstrated that quite clearly with the step up. Now, something else to note too, right? Like at a 6-minute 10 pace, that's 2 seconds, just over 2 seconds per rep. Now, if we blow that out to 7 minutes, where some of the other athletes, well, they were just underneath that. That averages 2.3 seconds a rep. You know, we're not talking crazy margins here. So I think when we talk to you guys, or the largest percentile of our audience, I think we should be looking more up a 9, 8, 10-minute range there. So I think we're going to speak to that shortly too.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. I like that stat instead of just round times, right? Because whatever your time may be per rep, whether it's 3, 4, 5 seconds, keep them the same because you know you're going to be in a bad spot. We saw Alex fall off a little bit on her pace because I think she went out a little hot.
Yep.
So I think if we went back and did the time on those, it may have seen that maybe she started out at 1 point whatever seconds per rep and dropped down to 2.7 or whatever it was. So that's cool. I think no matter if you're doing the scaled or foundation version of this workout, it's the same thing you can look at. Time out your reps in practice, and then you can try to stick to those as you go out through the whole workout.
Yep.
Now, do you want to go through some level 2s, or I got some talk notes here that more strategy or more like some observations we had?
No, let her ride. Yeah,
Cool.
go.
So we've got some things here that we just spoke about just before this, right? 180 reps, so there's 90 reps, and 90 of them are burpees, right? Quick math there, you're welcome. But 84 reps of that is when you finished a round of 21. So really, you're at halfway when you're just a bit into your 15s of your dumbbell snatch, okay? So think about that from a pacing perspective. When we spoke about burpees too, we thought more so approaching this for level 2 and level 1 as more of as though you were doing 100 burpees for time. Mm-hmm. That strategy will allow your heart rate to be relatively consistent and smooth rather than fluctuating, and then you're having to rest between station to station. A big thing that we think will be very vital is understanding where your burpee position should be, right? Actually pace out where your hands relative to the dumbbell should be, and then learn where your feet position should finish every time. Last thing you want to do is add more core into that. So if you need to position your hands further up so you don't have to step too far towards your hands, that'll allow you to just sort of be in that floating space.
Yeah, your gym owners will love it when you put X's on the ground to know where your hands are going to go.
So yeah,
please feel free.
Chalky gyms all over the US.
Jared said that. And if you're at affiliate, please don't do that. And then again, the video strategy we just spoke about. I mean, the video standard says clearly, feet clearly, jumping over the dumbbell. Tiebreaker, right? So this is after the round of 15. Something to note there for some of us to be considerate of that.
And if you are maybe one of those early on level 1s after the 21s, make sure you always write that one down too.
For sure, yep. And then gymnastics grips are not allowed, so they actually specified this. I'm not sure where we're at with that, but if we got busted up hands, maybe think about that on when you want to do this workout. And my last note is almost like how we started too. It's not a technical workout. It's not like we've got to do ring muscle ups or wall facing handstand push ups like last year. So this one, I think you can lean into your fitness more, and we're going to talk fitness now in terms of level 2 and level 1.
Yeah, so the different levels that we have. So real quick with the level 3, we just got a very good display of that for you level 3 athletes, and those are athletes that are going to have a really good shot at cracking through at semis and potentially moving on to the games. You can almost outrun this workout a little bit. And you heard Alex say it on the broadcast where by the time she got into it and really started to feel it, the 15s were halfway done and you could sink into those last bits. So for you guys that have that capacity and that level to do it, like you can almost outrun this thing a little. And Jeff did a really good job. And so did Alex. Like the pace he started with was exactly the pace he finished with. So for you guys, don't be shy going out. You can underpace this one if you're one of those higher level 3 athletes. For the level 2 athletes, those are going to be our athletes who are in quarterfinals and like aiming to crack through into that quarterfinals. This is something where if you try to outrun this one, it may come back and bite you a little bit. So, and I think Shane made a perfect talking point on this, where that 100 burpee 4-time pace is going to settle in nicely for you. And the separator really between the level 2 and the level 1, it's really just going to be a fitness test for you at this point, where your fitness will determine the pace that you know you can hold. And over the course of this workout, if your movement standards are clean, it's going to work itself out the way it's supposed to. But the overarching principles are really the burpee pace that you start with should be the burpee pace you think you can finish with. And with the dumbbells, that's one, especially if you're a low level 2 or a level 1 athlete, that you may want to dial back a little bit and get a feel for that movement. And you can always accelerate that one easily on the back half of this thing.
Yeah.
It's a good one too if you're brand new to CrossFit,
Very
right?
much.
Because you can probably do this one RX as written if you're take care of your body. We're not saying get injured.
Generous
this
time
is a
cap,
lot
too.
of reps.
Yeah, it is.
But it's one that, like if you're doing foundations because of ring muscle ups or bar muscle ups and things like this is a good one to jump into, because burpees and snatches, we can do those. And it's two of those movements to where I think we'll push a lot of people in our gym to really try to go for that RX level, which is great. So let's talk about real quick when it comes down to our level 3 athletes. Let's say these are the athletes that are trying to make semifinals. They've got to set up their cameras. They've got to do all the things just in case they have videos done. Let's talk about some tips that may help them going into tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that for those athletes, you can use the Open as a really good practice run to get ready for quarterfinals. We can't stress this enough. Every year at come quarterfinals, there is a video mishap, an upload issue, a scoring issue, a standards issue. You can really use this as an opportunity to dial in good habits and processes for quarterfinals. One of the things we like to recommend our athletes do is to have a buddy, like a camera buddy for our games level athletes, where their sole responsibility is to make sure that the camera is set up, it is press play, it is recording, all the things are in the view, the weights are measured, the boxes are measured, all that stuff. So use this as a really clean run through, take it serious to get some good ideas and some good processes in for this.
I like that.
Yeah, I think a couple of quick things too. I've written down the face away from the dumbbell when you start. I don't know if you guys saw that one in the notes. But it's one of those things, right?
Every year, one of these things where someone doesn't start where they're supposed to or face the right way.
There's those little things. You put all the work in as an athlete. You don't want something like that or a false start, right? Like where they dinged the year 2 years ago, where if you moved before the ding of 0, they're going to get you for it. So just make sure you know those little things.
They pin you more than they
They'll get your percentage on that one.
It costs you the win of the Open.
What do you know?
Another thing, guys, remember 2 heads of the dumbbell on the floor. And then
Yeah.
don't touch your leg with your opposite hand. So make sure that free arm is hanging out there, and your judge should help you with this as you guys are going along. Let's talk about some of our elite athletes real quick. So we've got Colton Mertens, who's here. I don't know if anybody can beat him in this workout.
It's going to be a nice one for him.
I asked him, I think 2 hours ago, I asked him, what do you want to see in next week when you go against Justin? He goes, burpee box jump over and snatch repeat, dumbbell snatch repeat.
Would have been nice.
So I think this one, he's getting fired up already. He was actually just in the conference room while we were sitting there. I don't think he heard me hear him, but under his breath, he goes, man, this is going to be an easy one. I was like, okay, you're going to hurt bad tomorrow on this one, but it should be good. Him and Luis are going to throw down, which is awesome.
That's going to sting. Luis is a sneaky fit dude that this workout agrees pretty well with, too. That's going to be a fun one just in-house for us to kind of just watch and see that happen.
What do we think about the women?
In-house?
Yeah,
I mean,
tomorrow we're throwing down. First one in the new building.
It's going to be pretty good. Like, the fit.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a great one for them to like assess themselves, right? Like I think this will be a good showcase for them, and like Jarrett said at the start, where the elite will get to separate, and then we will get to see that in real time, and then obviously witness and take notes from it. So I think they're going to get a lot of data for themselves and encouragement from that.
I completely agree, and I don't think a lot of people realize just how much the games level athletes still work on these basic movements. Like I can tell you with Sid Mikulishin, like these 2 movements specifically have been something we've targeted over the past few years as areas of opportunity for. So it's so fun and exciting to get a chance to kind of get a data point on where they're at right now. So it's really, really a good workout. I enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's always good to get a test in the open where they can see what 2021 or 2022 of themselves look like.
It's not a limitation of a skill.
Yes.
Right?
No governor on this one, right?
Exactly.
We can just let them go, which is cool.
Yeah, and despite the thought or the feeling that the open no longer matters, 1, I don't believe that one bit. 2, we've tried in the past with other athletes that I've worked with where we've almost intentionally tried to pre-fatigue them before the open so that they would know that they didn't have to sell out for the open any longer. But when these guys line up and they know it's going on a leaderboard, it's hard for anyone to turn it down. So you're going to get a good effort regardless. And because of that, we get good data points to carry forward with the season.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than Jeff right there.
Yeah, that was that was beautiful.
And granted, right, they did 2 workouts in less than 24 hours at a high level. Exactly. And when they put a camera on them, they're trying hard.
Yes. Yeah. No one there was just kind of mailing this one in.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think that's us, eh?
Yeah. So anything else? You guys good? Do you feel good about that? I mean, this is a shorter one, so in the next.
For me personally?
Well, I mean, what's your goal time here, Shane?
Nick, time cap's 15, right?
Yep.
I think 15.
RX
14:59, man. But clean reps.
It's funny you say that. I was talking to Sid Mikulish, and I was like, "Don't worry about that time cap. That time cap's not for you. That's for me.
That's for the coaches.
That's my time cap.
That's for the coaches minus Dwight.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, this is exciting. Like I said, first Friday Night Lights tomorrow night, which will be really cool. The athletes will throw down in the morning, see what our community does. A couple things just for you guys that are watching. Obviously, if there's anything else we can do in next week to get better at this and give you guys some more info, that'd be awesome. Drop it below.
Yep.
But then more so on our apps, like I already said, check out Beyond the Whiteboard, check out Train Heroic. We've got exclusive notes just for our members, but then also on our Instagram as well. We're going to be posting tidbits from this podcast, but then also the primers and warm-ups that we suggest for you guys as well.
Perfect.
Cool. So we'll see you guys next week.